They drained the $120,000 I'd been squirreling away since I was 18, every penny of it, and spent it paying off my brother's student loans, booking his honeymoon, and surprising him with a high-end car. When I called to confront them, my dad answered and said, "Thanks for being so naive. You're part of the family now, time to pitch in." I actually laughed. Not a chuckle, but one of those laughs that bubbles up when something so absurd it breaks reality. Because the money they took wasn't what they thought. "Thanks for your naivety," my dad repeated. "Your family now, pay your share." I just stared at the phone like it had suddenly started speaking a language I didn't know. "Sorry, what?" I asked, not because I hadn't heard him, but because I needed him to say it again. Slower. With all the weight that kind of betrayal deserves. But instead of clarity, he just laughed and said, "Come on, you've always been the responsible one. What's a little help for your brother? You're not selfish, are you?" That's when I cracked. Let out a laugh that sounded more like glass breaking than anything human. Sharp. Hollow. Bitter. Because they thought they were spending my savings, just some cash I happened to have. But that money was something else entirely. We'll get there. Let me rewind a bit. The last time I saw my parents face to face was a family dinner back in late March. I showed up with a bottle of wine, a homemade pie I'd baked the night before, and a forced attempt at cheer. I hadn't seen my brother in a while, but there he was, freshly bronzed from his honeymoon, flashing a Rolex I definitely hadn't seen in his last mirror selfie. I remember exactly what Dad said that night. We were halfway through the meal when he raised his glass and toasted, "To David's future, may student debt never chase you, and may your new ride treat you better than your last poor choice." Then he looked my way and added, "And thank you, Eli, for being the kind of son who never gives us a reason to worry. You've always been the good one." My mom giggled. James smirked. I didn't get it yet. Not until the next morning when I checked my bank account and saw the balance, zero. Gone. Everything I'd saved since I was a teenager. Every birthday check I never spent, every freelance gig I took on instead of going out. All of it, drained like someone pulled the plug on a tub I'd never even gotten to use. At first, I thought it was fraud. A hack. I called the bank, heart pounding and stomach dropping. But no. The transfer was authorized. Turns out I'd been added to a family trust account months earlier, supposedly for emergencies. Some kind of joint structure. I vaguely remembered signing something around Christmas. I was told it was a routine tax document, just something for a family investment plan. I didn't ask questions. I signed it like a trusting idiot. Like family. And then it got worse. The money had already been dispersed. $58,000 to clear David's MBA debt. $12,000 for a Maldives honeymoon. $38,500 for a brand new Tesla. The leftovers? Labeled as miscellaneous family expenses. I called them. Hands trembling, voice tight with rage, but still polite. That's how I was raised, after all. Mom didn't answer. James replied with a heart emoji and a thumbs up. But Dad? Dad picked up, said, "Thanks for your naivety. Your family now. Pay your share." And right there, something inside me didn't shatter, it split. Quietly. Deeply. Like ice cracking under pressure beneath a frozen lake. And I laughed again. Because the money they stole wasn't just cash to me. And I wasn't the fool they thought I was, either. When I was 19, I gave my brother my laptop because his had died and he needed one for school. When I was 21, I covered 3 months of my parents' mortgage. Dad said the market was rough, promised he'd pay me back. When I was 24, I co-signed a loan for James because he swore his credit was just a technicality. By the time I hit 27, I'd sent them so much money I had to start logging it all in a spreadsheet just to keep my sanity intact. And not once, not even once, did anyone say thank you. It was never framed as generosity. Just obligation. I was the dependable one. The fixer. The guy in the background who shows up in Act 3 with a tired smile and just enough money to save the day. But they weren't cartoon villains. Not right away. My dad was magnetic. Everyone said so. He could tell a story, pour a drink, and make you feel like the center of the universe until you crossed him. Then he'd cut you to ribbons with a grin on his face. My mom was soft-spoken, gentle, always stuck in the middle. But she never stopped him. Not once. And David? Golden boy. He wielded guilt like a surgeon handles a scalpel. "I'm trying, man," he'd say. "You don't know what it's like to have that kind of pressure on you." He said I couldn't possibly understand. That I'd never had expectations weighing me down. I paid for his LSAT prep. He dropped out. I funded his second chance at business school. He skipped 6 weeks to party in Ibiza. And still, I kept showing up. Still sent the money. Because somewhere deep down, I believed, stupidly, that one day, they'd see me. Not as an ATM. Not as the safety net. But as a person. That illusion died the moment I saw the Instagram post. David, one hand resting on his new Tesla, the other wrapped around his fiancée. The caption? "Work hard, play harder. New chapter begins. Hashtag grind pays off, hashtag blessed, hashtag no handouts." No handouts. I was sitting on the floor of my apartment in the same pair of sweats I'd worn for 3 days, staring at the screen like it was written in another language. That car? That vacation? Her ring? All of it paid for with my money. But online, he was a self-made success story. I didn't comment. Didn't like it. Didn't even flinch. I just closed the app and opened my files. Because here's the thing, I had proof. Screenshots of the transfers. Texts where he begged. Lies spelled out in detail. I had the emergency emails. PayPal receipts. Wire transfer records. And yes, the trust paperwork they duped me into signing, still backed up in the cloud. Because I've always been paranoid like that. But it got worse. My cousin Tessa texted me. "Hey. Is it true what your mom said about you investing in David's startup? That's amazing. She said you believed in him when no one else did." I just stared at the message. Startup? There was no startup. So I asked for proof. Tessa sent me a screenshot from a group chat. My mom had posted a message that read, "We're so grateful to Eli. He believed in David's app idea." That's what family does. It's not about the money, it's about trust. That was the moment it all clicked. This wasn't just theft. It was identity theft, not legally, but narratively. They weren't just draining my account. They were repackaging my name, slapping a bow on it, and handing it to James like he was the second coming of Steve Jobs. I wasn't the victim. I was the silent investor. The humble hero in the footnotes. The reliable brother whose support proved David's genius. I texted my mom. No punctuation, just, "There's no app, is there?" Her reply came fast. "You're overthinking again. Why do you always do this?" That was her move. Every time I asked for the truth, she twisted it into a character flaw. Like being suspicious of obvious lies was the real problem. I didn't respond. I logged off and started digging. First stop, my bank. I requested detailed records of every transfer, every dollar that had vanished. Just to be sure, though deep down, I already knew. But something told me to go further. So I pulled my credit report. Pure paranoia. But I'm glad I did. Because that's when the bottom dropped out. A second credit line had been opened under my name. Linked to my childhood address. Over $17,000 in charges racked up in the past 90 days, flights, jewelry, spa days, even a $6,500 restoration hardware spree. They were living like royalty. Under the banner of shared family credit. I called my dad. No more politeness, no room for negotiation. He answered like we were old buddies. "Hey there, son. Funny timing, James and I were just talking about maybe having you help out with the down payment on their house. The market's tough out there, you know? But it's time he builds equity." I cut him off. "You opened a credit line in my name," I said. "You forged my signature." Silence. Then laughter. "Oh, come on, don't be dramatic. We're family. You've always been the responsible one, it balances out." This is fraud. No, son, he said, in that calm, condescending voice he used when I was 10 and caught swearing. This is legacy. You help James know, and one day he helps your kids. I hung up. No warning. No goodbye. But they weren't done. That night, I got added to a brand new group chat. Aunts. Uncles. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. The chat name? Family First. First message? From my mom. Please support James and Sophie's new life. Eli's been so generous, true family values. We're proud of him. Second message? A GoFundMe link. Goal, $50,000. Purpose, down payment support and business growth. Listed donors? My name, twice. An anonymous $5,000 donation labeled, from Big Bro. I hadn't donated a dime. They were using me as bait. Dressing me up as the supportive brother to pull in sympathy donations. And people were falling for it. I wanted to scream. To throw my phone across the room. Instead, I clicked download. Every message. Every screenshot. Every carefully crafted lie. I archived it all because I was done being quiet. And I was just getting started. They used my name to fund their fantasy. Now I was going to use my voice to end their fairy tale. I scheduled the livestream for 8 p.m. sharp. No trailer. No build-up. Just a simple caption. What does betrayal sound like when it smiles? I've got the receipts. At 7:55 p.m., there were 60 people waiting. By 8:03, the number had jumped to over 900. Family. Friends. Mutuals. Even a few strangers. I spotted one of Sophie's cousins in the chat. I started with silence. Just a title slide. How my family stole $120,000 and called it love. Then I turned on my camera. Hi. I'm Eli, I said. You've probably seen my name on GoFundMe pages, tagged in family wedding photos, maybe mentioned in a post or two. Maybe you thought I was the generous one. The good brother. The quiet son. I paused. Well, I was quiet. But not anymore. Click. Next slide. A PDF of my savings account, completely drained. $120,437.52 gone over 7 months. Line by line. Tuition reimbursement, David. Family travel, honeymoon prep. Vehicle assistance, Tesla. Miscellaneous. I let the silence hang. Then, I didn't authorize a single one of those transfers. I was tricked into signing a fake tax document at Christmas. That's how they got my name on the trust account. Click. Next slide, my credit report. A new credit card opened under my name, using my old address. $17,200 balance. Then came the forged signature. I zoomed in. That's not my handwriting. But that's my name. That's my credit score. That's my future. The chat exploded. This is criminal. Wait, your own family did this? Bro, this is actual fraud. I donated to that GoFundMe? Click. Screenshot of the GoFundMe campaign. My name listed as a $5,000 donor. This? I said. Completely fake. I never gave a cent. My name was used to add credibility. And I don't blame the people who donated, I know why you did. I believed in them once too. But it wasn't generosity. It was bait. Then came the audio. A clip from a phone call with my dad. You're part of this family, Eli. You don't get to opt out. Everyone pays their share. Then laughter. That same smug, punchable laugh. Thanks for being so naive. Made things a lot easier. The stream stuttered for a second. But the chat didn't. And then a name popped up. Sophie. David's ex-fiancée. She wrote. I didn't know he used your money. I'm so sorry. I left him when I found out. 3 dots. Then. He told me you co-signed the Tesla with love. I should have known. I didn't reply. I just clicked to the final slide. White text on a black screen. This isn't revenge. It's self-defense. You used my silence. My savings. My signature. I'm not here to cry, I'm here to close the door. And if it slams, so be it. I'm not here to humiliate. I'm here to reclaim my name. And show how easy it is to erase someone's voice when they stay silent too long. And with that, I ended the stream. 8:41 p.m. My phone rang. Dad. Ignored. 8:42 Mom. Voicemail, how could you do this to us? We're humiliated. 8:45 Text from David, you really think the internet will love you forever? You're just bitter. I replied with one line. I kept the original trust document. And the call logs. Keep texting. He didn't. That night, my story blew up under a hashtag I never even created, #FamilyFraud. And for the first time ever, I didn't feel embarrassed. I felt recognized. You didn't lose your reputation because I came forward. You lost it because it was built on me keeping quiet. By the time the sun came up, the live stream had crossed 220,000 views. By that afternoon, it was showing up on blogs, going viral on TikTok, and getting stitched by everyone from financial coaches to therapists to a lawyer who flat out said, this is a textbook case of financial abuse within a family. He broke it down like a pro. I didn't crack a smile. Not even a little. I knew what was coming. At 3:27 p.m., my mom fired back with a Facebook post. It was a childhood photo of me and David, grinning in the backyard with popsicles in our hands. The caption? No mother is perfect. Followed by, but no mother should be torn apart online by her own child. We raised our sons with love even when we had nothing. We forgave. We gave everything. Some people forget. The comments came flooding in. Hundreds. People sending support. Stay strong. He'll come around. Kids these days cancel everything, even their own blood. But something felt different this time. Mixed in with all the sympathy were voices that sounded like mine. Didn't he show the receipts? What about the fake credit line? Wait, didn't they actually rob him? I saw the video. Don't gaslight us. By midnight, her post had already been flagged 6 times for spreading false info. The very next day, a letter showed up from a lawyer. A cease and desist. Claims of defamation. Emotional damage. Threats of a lawsuit. I didn't blink. I just forwarded the whole thing to my attorney, Nina, and added a few key attachments. A signed trust document with faked details. An audio clip of my dad owning up to the theft. Screen recordings showing fake GoFundMe donations made in my name. And a bank statement linking $120,000 in shady withdrawals. Nina fired back with just one sentence, we've initiated legal action. By 6 p.m., she'd filed an official counter notice. A formal demand to repay every cent $120,000 plus a 5% penalty for using my financial info without permission, for credit fraud, and for the damage they'd done to my name. She made sure both their lawyer and their accountant got the paperwork. That part mattered to me. Then, I made one single post. No hashtags. No yelling. Just the truth. You didn't lose your reputation because I exposed anything. You lost it because I finally stopped lying for you. I attached the legal docs, the bank screenshots, and the GoFundMe logs. It caught fire online. Hashtag Team Eli started trending. Then hashtag Family Fraud. Then, hashtag Notiorson. People from all over began sharing it. Some sent messages with their own stories. Others offered free legal help. A nonprofit that supports victims of financial abuse reposted my stream with a caption, not all abusers are partners. Sometimes, they're family. By Thursday, things started unraveling fast. James deleted every single one of his social accounts. His fiance's parents pulled the plug on the wedding. The venue canceled. The registry got wiped clean. My mom's Facebook vanished after people started filling her old posts with screenshots from my video. My dad tried posting something vague and macho, something like "real men don't whine online." It got 3 likes. All from folks who clearly hadn't seen the stream yet. By Friday, I got a text from a blocked number. I opened it, curiosity beat out self-respect. It was a photo of a bank transfer. $120,000 wired straight into my account. Labeled "Family Resolution." No apology. No explanation. Just the cash. I stared at the screen for a while, then forwarded the image to Nina with a message: "Mark as received, but tell them the interest was silence, and I'm not paying that price anymore." She asked, "Want to respond publicly?" I shook my head. Nope. They'd said enough already. But they still tried. One last post from my mom, from some private account. "We've settled everything. It was all a misunderstanding. Love wins." Nobody was buying it anymore. Not after the receipts had faces, files, and 200,000 people backing them up. I didn't respond. I didn't post again. I just sat in my quiet apartment. Rent paid up for the whole year. Fridge full. No missed calls. No family group texts. And I let the silence grow. It didn't feel lonely. It felt like something I earned. I didn't vanish to punish them. I disappeared so I'd never have to survive them again. It didn't happen all at once. But once I started cutting ties, I didn't stop. Closed the bank accounts. Changed my number. Sold the downtown condo for cash. Never went back to box anything up. Just hired someone and told them, "Burn the furniture." I moved 1,200 miles south and found a lease-free apartment in a city nobody could guess. Somewhere unremarkable. Muggy. Quiet. I chose the name Eli E. Mercer because it sounded sharp. Like someone with a clean slate. Like someone who didn't know anybody a damn thing. I was done being the guy everyone called when something broke or a bill was late. I picked up a used Toyota. No payments. Nothing flashy. I ditched the watches. Stopped celebrating my birthday. Started living like every day was a fresh reboot. New passwords. New mindset. New rule: no family. No blood ties. Just peace. At first, they still tried. Mom borrowed other people's phones. Made fake accounts. Her messages were always the same: "Please talk to us. This isn't how families work. We're still your parents." But what she didn't get was real parents don't fake your signature. Real love doesn't come with invoices and guilt trips. So I blocked every number. Every app. Every ghost they tried to send my way. Even James gave it one shot. Just one message. No hello. Just, "Congrats. You've made yourself a martyr. Try not to choke on your ego." I didn't answer. Didn't even save a screenshot. Because as far as I was concerned, he didn't exist anymore. 3 months went by. I picked up a new gig, freelance cybersecurity for a company in Iceland. Got paid in crypto. No HR department. No tax forms with my real name. I started running at night. No headphones. Just the sound of gravel, wind, and my body trying to catch up with the life I'd finally taken back. I didn't tell anyone where I was. Not even the people I worked with. I became a whisper in a brand new place. And for once, it felt right. Until the envelope showed up. Heavy. No return name. Just an embossed seal. Dunbridge and Lowen LLP. When I saw the envelope, my first thought was they tracked me down. Maybe Mom had hired a PI. Maybe James was gearing up to sue me for emotional trauma. I stared at that envelope for a solid 20 minutes before finally slicing it open with a steak knife. Inside, just 2 pages. One was official. The other felt personal. The formal letter read: "This is a notification regarding the passing of Mr. Robert H. Graves. His last will and testament has been executed. The personal note followed. Mr. Graves has deliberately left no assets, property, or inheritance to Eliel Graves. This is not a clerical error. There it was. In plain black ink. A final jab from a man who spent his life tearing me down in public, then acting like I was too sensitive behind closed doors. He was gone. And with the last flick of his pen, he made sure his pettiness lived on in the paperwork. I read the words slowly. Then I read them again. And then, I laughed. Because after a lifetime full of broken promises and empty apologies, the man finally followed through on something. I didn't go to the funeral. I didn't ask if there even was one. Didn't scroll the obits or make a fake account to check. I did just one thing. I printed the will. Drove out to a quiet stretch of beach where nobody knew my name. Started a small fire right there in the sand. And I fed that will into the flames line by line. As the smoke twisted up into the sky, I whispered. You didn't forget me. You erased me. And now, I've done the same to you. Later that week, I set up one final digital trigger and automated message that read. This number is no longer monitored. This name is no longer in use. If you're looking for Eli, you've already lost him. Then I programmed it into my old email, hit delete, and never looked back. So now I sip coffee by myself. I watch people laugh from a distance and feel nothing but peace. In my new life, nobody knows I ever had a brother. No one asks about my parents. And I don't bring them up. They think I'm reserved. They think I'm private. But really? I'm clean. Everything I carry now is something I built with my own two hands. Every morning, I wake up to silence. And I remember exactly what it felt like to only matter when someone else needed saving. Final thought? They tried to bury me under guilt and obligation. But I chose silence not as revenge, but as a way to survive. And when my father left me nothing. Well, for once, he actually kept a promise.